Hey there everyone, GameFox here. Welcome back to another Indies with Icarus today!
Hi guys!
Wow!
I'm on the other side today!
We finally had some time to sit down and do another Indies with Icarus, which I'm really excited for. This game is called The Dragon's Last Flight. It's a visual novel style game that we found on a whim, and it's a demo, but the full game should hopefully be released later this year from what they said on itch.io. And
I'm pretty excited. I love games that are I love story-based games.
And this
so
whole
much.
aesthetic just speaks to this one.
I'm an avid goer of the Renaissance fairs and stuff, so this music is my jam.
Anyway, the whole point of the game is that you are a dragon slayer, that you define the moral compass of this dragon slayer. I don't know too much more than that, so let's go ahead and just jump right... Are you okay over there? Oh.
Darkness. Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna start. Like I said, it's a story, it's a visual novel, so I have followed a trail of feathers and scales to an impossible source. Oh.
I love the painted style.
Yeah, me too. When I was told what I would find out here in the woods, I admit I did not fully believe it. And when I began to spot the old signs I remembered well even after so many years, I still doubted. Yes, here's the proof that the woman who hired me spoke truly, that dragons really do exist. Oh, he's so cute! It has been nigh on 2 decades since anyone's reported a sighting. I myself haven't laid eyes on a living dragon since before I lost Aurelia. I hope I said that right. If she were by my side now, I wonder what she'd say to see a dragon alive and breathing after so long. His little horn's broken.
Oh.
But not for much longer. I wasn't hired simply to find a dragon. I was hired to slay it. One wrong move is all it will take to shift the odds against me. Dragons do not hesitate to eliminate perceived threats. Bards and artists like to paint pretty pictures of knights in shining armor, brandishing swords in the face of gnashing teeth and open flames. But true dragon slayers know better than to risk open combat if it can be avoided. A dragon slayer's most important virtue isn't courage, it's stealth.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I creep close. I got into that voice. I creep closer to the sleeping dragon, stepping carefully to avoid snapping twigs and crunching leaves beneath my boots.
Gotta go in all sneaky beaky like.
Gotta get... Snake.
Snake.
Colonel! It's unusual to see a dragon sleeping soundly, out in the open, in the middle of the day.
Looks like he has a big scar running down the side of his face,
Yeah.
too.
Perhaps it has not seen my kind in as many years as I have not seen a dragon. Perhaps it has grown complacent. Drawing nearer, I discard the notion almost as quickly as it occurs to me. This is no youth prone to folly. A female of the species, the fading sheen of her feathers and scales, and the battle scars all over her body, bears tell me that she is at least 200 years old. Like me, she has survived against all odds, to see the twilight of her years. Yet here she is, lying vulnerable outside her cave without so much as a flight to protect her. I stop suddenly. What if she's not alone? It's possible she's not vulnerable at all, but only wishes me to think so. I stop suddenly. What if she's not alone? It's possible she's not vulnerable at all, but only wishes for me to think so. A trap. I'm about to walk into a trap. I crouch down deep in the foliage. Eyes on the sky. I see nothing but a hawk passing in lazy loops and a handful of fluttering dragonflies. I think back to the signs I followed, the tracks that led me here. A feather here, a scale there, a burnt patch of grass, and a damaged tree. Nothing to suggest full flight of dragons lives here. I skipped that. A full flight of dragons lives here, and yet something's not right. I do like the back feature.
Are you going to make me wait all day, Dragon Slayer?
Aha, yes. A voice in my head startles me, low and gravelly, and yet distinctly feminine. It winds its way through my mind like fog, creeping through the cracks between my thoughts. The dragon. Though their vocal cords are not built for human speech, all dragons have the gift of mind speech. Ironic. Only Sin would get that.
Yep.
They can speak directly in one's thoughts, with or without permission. Ah, you're so cute!
Face.
Oh!
I know you're there. Come out and finish what you've started.
Damn, so much for stealth. I love the way she's designed!
I really like all the, battleware on her.
I just got more music. Awake. I've got a slim chance at best of catching her off guard. There's likely no hope of trapping her either. She's too clever for that. I can either fight or flee. No true dragon slayer abandons a quest before its completion. Readying my sword and shield, I brace myself for what could well be my final skirmish. My strategy is to... Ooh, okay, so do we draw her towards the trees where we can shoot her with a poisoned arrow, surprise her by facing her head on with a sword and shield, or distract her with talk? while I sneak around behind.
Well, drawing her to the trees is a good strategic standpoint because it stops her from being able to take to the air. We don't necessarily know if she's immune to poison or not, but everything in me says it's a snake, so it must have some kind of poison immunity.
I mean, it is a COBRA style.
Surprising her face on seems like a foolish and risky idea.
Yeah.
Seems stupid. Distracting her with talk might be an interesting standpoint, if we can play into her dragons-like riddles
Yes.
thing.
I think we should go with that one, because plus we can probably get some more dialogue out of this. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Silent, I open my mind to converse with her mentally. It's a dangerous strategy. If I'm not careful, she'll glimpse my inner thoughts and suss out my plan. But it may also be my last remaining chance to catch her off guard.
Well, I mean, we are, a veteran,
Yeah,
so...
I like his little scruffy beard. Dragon Slayer. What makes you think so? I move carefully, one soft, quiet step at a time, walking as if on cat's feet. An odd sound rumbles from the dragon's throat.
Da, 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 da.
But she's laugh. Laughter? Hard to say. I've never heard a dragon laugh before.
Who else would dare wake a sleeping dragon?
My deepest apologies. I never meant to disturb your slumber. She emits another rumble.
I believe you.
Not there yet. I need more time. I struggle to keep the conversation going. Just, no! Doesn't work! You know, it's been some time since I've seen your kind.
Really? And why do you suppose that is, Dragon Slayer?
There's a dangerous edge to her voice now. It's almost physically painful, like a razor being lightly drawn across the inside of my skull. Ah!
It's like fingernails on concrete.
I imagined it was because there were none left, yet here you are.
Yes, here I am.
The edge of her voice softens.
It's been a long time for me, too.
Since you've seen a dragon? I'm drawing close to where I need to be. She's on her feet now, but she hasn't moved. If she stays put just a little longer, I might be able to pull this off.
Indeed, nearly half a century by my count.
I hesitate for a moment. 50 years. A long time to be alone by human standards. But she is not human, I remind myself. She is a dragon. What about your flight? What happened to your kin? She growls. A deep, low sound that echoes through the space between us. Right into the marrow of my bones.
Morrow. A dragon slayer should know better than to ask.
I've made it. Keeping within her blind spot, I take leave of the woods and begin to advance. Suddenly, she roars.
Enough of this! Come out and face me!
I like the look of the face!
Look at it, it's gonna eat me, I love it!
Just, ah!
Now I can't see it any other way.
Startling though her outburst is, my training keeps me from giving myself away. I continue my silent advance. Unfortunately, the local wildlife have had no such training. A nearby flock of crows, disturbed by the dragon's discontent, take flight with a chorus of cacophonous caws.
Cacophonous. Chorus of cacophonous caws. I like that sentence.
Distracted by the noise, the dragon's head swivels around. Our eyes meet. It's now or never. I dodge out of the way just in time as her long, scaly tail sweeps past me. Keeping my head low, I race toward her. If I can close in quickly enough, I might be able to drive my blade between her ribs by piercing through soft, vulnerable flesh where her wings meet her torso. It's a long shot, but at this point, it's the only hope I've got. She spins around to face me. I dodge another near-fatal blow, this time from one of the two claws at the ends of her wings. And as her wings lifts up, I duck down under it. I lunge for her side, sword up and ready to impale her. I'm a second too slow. Or perhaps she knew all along what I meant to do. Ooh, she moved. Whatever the case, I miss my mark and she shifts her weight. My sword draws blood, but it's only a scratch. As she turns, her tail sweeps my legs out from under me and I stumble and fall. I scramble to my feet and retreat toward a nearby boulder, but it is an empty gesture. I'll be charcoal before I reach cover. The faces of my loved ones flash through my mind's eye, my daughter and her family, my friends in the village, Aurelia. I'll see you soon, my love. And then I hear it. A huge rushing roar of raging heat comes coursing towards me. This is it. This is how I die. Except, it isn't. I feel something impact the ground just behind me. The tiny flames spring up in the grass around my boots as I run. I died behind the boulder with little more than with singed clothes and hot feet. I should be a pile of ash and bone. I was an easy target. How did she miss? That same nagging doubt I felt earlier returns to me, tripled in strength. Something is very wrong here. Out loud, I shout at her. What are you playing at, dragon?
Playing? What makes you think this is a game?
Stop toying with me. Why am I still alive?
Call it fate. Call it fortune. Call it whatever you like. It matters not.
But it does. I'm missing something. Something vital. She's missing feathers on her chest, like she's got bare bird skin on her chest. She knows I've come to kill her. She's fighting back, but not fighting for her life. Or is it a trap? Is she merely playing with her food before she eats it?
Nom 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 nom.
Ah.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna be your best friend. Most elder dragons know better, but perhaps after so many years alone, she's grown bored. Or else she wants to keep me alive for some other purpose.
What's wrong, assassin? Dragon got your tongue.
She's baiting me. She's been baiting me all along. She wants to fight, but she wants me alive. This makes no sense. What if I don't?
What? What do you mean?
I'm old. I'm tired. What if I walk away from this fight? What if I retreat? She snarls, her tail lashing back and forth like a whip. I can hear it whistling through the air as it sails from one side to the other.
You wouldn't dare. It would tarnish your good name and the honor of your guild brothers and sisters.
In truth, the honor of my once noble guild was tarnished long ago. Those of us who didn't retire when the dragons disappeared kept our blades sharp and our pockets full of sellswords.
As sellswords.
As sellswords. Okay. These days, we're little better than common mercenaries. Hardly. I would have thought you'd be relieved. You could sleep in peace once more.
Until you kill me in my sleep, or return with reinforcements. Do you take me for a fool?
I don't, of course. No dragon slayer who underestimates his opponent lives to tell the tale. Which is why I need answers. But what is the right question? Ah! Okay. Question her motives and ask her why she's trying to kill me. Why are you trying to kill me?
Yes!
Icarus is gonna take over the channel! Question the quest. Ask what her connection to the old woman who wants her dead. Ooh.
So, on one hand, we could basically throw the old woman under the bus and risk her life. On the other, we can question the dragon directly, which I highly doubt we'll ever get an answer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like questioning her directly like that is... She has no reason to divulge information to us. Whereas, if we knock her off guard in a conversation sense and bring up the old woman, then we might actually get an answer without her thinking twice before she speaks.
Yeah, not only that, but if you're bringing up, like, your connection to somebody, usually, if you're some unknown person who brings somebody else from your past up, it might make them go, oh, wait, you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go with that one, then. Who is the woman who wants you dead?
What?
That seems to have stopped the dragon in her tracks.
Bingo bango.
Furry triangle!
What are you talking about?
The woman who told me where to find you, a lady of advanced age, perhaps a little older than myself. She knew exactly where you slept.
Advanced age?
I'm more advanced than you!
Damn it.
She wore a hood, but I glimpsed her face. She bore a dragon's kiss on the right side of her face.
A kiss?
A scar. I know the mark of dragon fire when I see it. What is her connection to you? The dragon laughs, a hollow, empty sound.
You have a habit of overthinking things, Dragon Slayer. I know her not.
Yes, you mentioned you haven't seen a human in years. And yet, this woman was able to tell me exactly how to get to you. When I asked her if others knew of your presence, she said no, which means she must have been the one to find you here. Most likely recently, since no other dragon slayers have been sent your way lately. Or so you claim. Yes, there are no roads here. This is on the way to nothing. So what was the woman doing out here on her own? And how did a vigilant dragon such as yourself not notice her coming or going?
What are you suggesting, Dragon Slayer?
To be honest, I'm not sure. But there's no doubt in my mind that there is more to the story than a dragon and an old woman being reopened. I assumed at first she simply wanted you dead for obvious reasons, but now...
You question her motives.
I question my reason for being here. She laughs again, but there's something gentler this time. Pity? Sympathy?
A large question, to be sure. One few find the answers to.
I sigh. You know what I mean. Why did she send me here?
I'm afraid I haven't the faintest idea. But what does it matter? You, a dragon slayer, have found your quarry, and I, a dragon, am about to rain fiery death upon you. What are you going to do about it?
I shake my head. For all I know, this is a trap. Whether laid by the dragon or the woman who sent me here, or perhaps a little of both, I cannot say. Nor do I have time to think it over. I can hear the dragon drawing closer step by step. I need time. Time to think, and time to decide what my next move is. Dragon Slayers are meant to put their ultimate purpose, the slaying of dragons, above all other causes. But what if I walk right into this web of lies blindly? I may as well fail to fulfill that purpose, and throw my life away in the process. I cannot do that. For the sake of my daughter, my family, it's my duty to stay alive. I need to get out of here, fast. Turning tail and running goes against everything I've ever been taught. It grates just to consider it. And if I'm wrong, she is trying to kill me. If she is trying to kill me, I'll be dead in a heartbeat. But I don't have much choice. If I can get deep enough in the woods quickly enough, she'll be slowed down by the trees and lose track of me. I say a silent prayer, asking the gods to watch over my journey until I can return home to my family. And then I sprint to the nearest cover, a large old tree nearly the width of 3 men standing shoulder to shoulder. Dun dun. Ooh, I like the change in pace. Hot breath scalds the back of my neck, and as jaws come crashing shut just behind me. Another lucky miss. I don't wait for a third. I race to the next tree, then the next. The dragon unleashes a furious roar, stomping craters into the earth as she follows in hot pursuit. I don't look back. I don't stop. I break into a run, and I keep running until her footsteps and the crashing of the trees around her feet fade into a whisper, until her cries are no more than echoes haunting my retreat. Even then, I do not stop. I slow to a walk, and I do not allow myself to rest until the sun has reached the far horizon. Only then do I allow myself to rest. I set up camp and fill my stomach with a simple meal of bread, cheese, and wine. Get dwank before you have to fight a dragon! I light a tiny campfire, barely large enough to warm my hands by.
Teeny tiny fire.
I do not dare start a proper fire. Even a smokeless flame could draw a dragon by scent alone, and there's no telling how tenacious she might be.
Very!
For all I know, she searches for me still. Dragons and humans have been enemies since time immemorial. No one now remembers how it started. Wait, no one now remembers who started it. Dragons, of course, blame us mortals, while human history records incidents of dragons preying upon humans long before we struck our first blow. I've long suspected the truth lay somewhere between the two extremes, but it matters not. All that matters now is who strikes the final blow. This dragon I've found, This dragon I found may well be among the last of her kind. It's likely she only survived as long as she has due to her seclusion in the mountains. Yet she let me live when killing me was the only sure guarantee I would keep her presence a secret. And there is one other thing to consider. The woman who told me where to find the dragon. She approached me a couple of weeks ago at a local tavern. She said she knew me for a dragon slayer by my eyes. Said you could tell a dragon killer from the fire in his gaze. Because he's just firing the lasers!
Boom!
I suppose it was more likely she'd recognize the guild crest on my shield, but I didn't argue that point. She told me what seemed to be a tall tale of a lone dragon concealed in the shadows of a mountain. Said she'd seen it with her own eyes. I didn't laugh in her face, though a lesser man might have. It seemed so unlikely at the time. Even the elusive unicorns are more likely sighted these days than a dragon. Unicorns!
Unicorns!
Bitch, I'm a unicorn. I asked if there was anyone who could corroborate her story. She said no, but begged me to believe her. She gave me a feather as proof. If it was a dragon's feather, there was no mistaking the texture or the markings. The most probable explanation was that she'd purchased it from a collector's shop, but the scars on her face and the hint of desperation in her pleas kept me from questioning her further. I swore it on my life, she said. There's one last dragon left in this world, and the world will be a better place once it's gone. Please, will you help me? I decided if the dragon was real, it was my duty to slay it, and if not, well, there were worse things than spending a few quiet days alone in the woods. I agreed, and she said that she could tell me exactly where to find the dragon. However, in exchange for this information, she extracted yet one more vow from me. I had to wait a week before I began my hunt. She's the dragon! She did a transforming. Or mind controlling. Bloop bloop. She said it was because she had family traveling through the mountains. She was worried if I disturbed the dragon before they were clear of its territory, her kin would be caught in the crossfire. When I asked where her family was headed, she would not say. But she insisted that I needed to wait. In the end, I consented, though against my better judgment. She told me what I needed to know. She told me exactly where I could find the dragon. She offered to pay me up front, and I accepted, planning to give the majority of my earnings to my daughter and her family. As our strange meeting drew to a close, she did the oddest thing of all. She smiled at me. She thanked me, looking up at me with those eyes of hers, golden eyes gleaming in the candlelight like two miniature suns. It is the dragon! I stared at the flickering flame of a meager the dragon. That's what it's gonna be. He fell in love with the lady. Don't! The dragon. I stare into the flickering flame of my meager fire, remembering and wondering. People tell all sorts of tales about dragons, despite our long history with them. The only thing we know for certain is how to kill them. My wife, Aurelia, used to find old stories fascinating. She believed that every legend contained within it at least a single grain of truth, and was determined to discover those truths by investigating one myth at a time. One legend she was never able to prove or disprove to her satisfaction involved transmogrification!
Hey.
Called it! It is believed by many that dragons can shapeshift. Some believe that they can take any form they choose. Others say dragons specifically developed the ability to disguise themselves as humans, as a form of supernatural camouflage. I've heard tell of villages discovering dragons in their midst and executing them before they could transform back into their bestial selves.
Burning witches at the stake!
Burning dragons at the trunk!
Wait,
okay, because they're bigger.
Oh.
Ugh. I never believed the stories myself. It sometimes grieved me to think of how many innocent men and women may have been burned at the stake. You called it, damn it, by maliciously surreptitious neighbors. And yet, their eyes are the same in color, if not in shape. I've never seen a human with eyes that shade of gold. Their scars are the same too. Could it be the woman I spoke with and the dragon she sent me to are one and the same? And if she is, what is the right thing to do here? As a dragon slayer, I am bound by my creed to protect humans from dragons at all costs. And yet, we were also once bound to ideals like honor, integrity, generousness of spirit. If dragons can take human form, are they really so different from us at all? A question my wife spent her life investigating. A question which I, for the sake of my livelihood, could not allow myself to ask. Until now. Because there's only one left! And now
conflict!
You have a moral obligation! I spent the majority of the night lost in my thoughts. The campfire burns out long before I finally lay down for a few stolen hours of sleep before dawn. With dawn comes a measure of clarity, at least.
Daylight. Clarity being the clarity of your eyeballs so you can fucking see.
I don't have all the answers to my questions, but I'm willing to take the time to discover them. I'm not going to kill this dragon. Not yet. My plan is to see how much information I can get from her about her kind, is to find out more about why I am here, and why I was chosen, is to understand why a dragon would hire someone to kill her. I'm interested in the more about her kind.
Yeah? I still don't feel like she would divulge much information. But I could see him, because of his wife's interest in dragons, I could see him chasing information, particularly about the transmogrification.
Yeah. So you want to go with that one?
Yeah, I could see him trying to find out if that's the truth, which would ultimately give him clarity over everything else.
Yeah, and make him feel closer to his dead wife. She may well be among the last of the dragons. If I can get her to talk, I may be able to discover whether there are any others or not, and if there are, where to find them. Oh no, I think I just made a bad choice.
Dun dun dun! That's not what I told you to say!
But maybe we can still twist it in a good way. So, it would be the final nail in the dragon's coffin. The war between dragons and humans would be over. For good. This is a chance I cannot afford to waste. But first, I'll have to convince the dragon not to kill me for yesterday's retreat. The sound of beating wings above the forest canopy tells me I won't have to travel to find her. Go very far to find her.
I smell you, Dragon Slayer! Your camp reeks of smoke and man sweat! What kind of coward runs from a fight before first blood is drawn?
We drew her blood.
We did.
It's on my sword.
We did.
She's circling lower. She's spotted me. Dragons have sharper vision than even the great eagles. I stand up. There's no point in hiding. The dragon's mouth opens, ready to render me to ashes. It's now or never, I say, first thing that comes to mind.
What is your name?
Oh, that's still my line.
Yeah.
What is your name? She makes an elegant sort of hacking sound, as if choking on something.
Yeah, just like, let me stop my fire halfway.
She lands, less than gracefully, in the largest space between the trees she can find. Several branches crash to the ground around her as she stares at me.
What did you say?
I asked for your name. I am known as Marius. Lestat?
Yes.
But you already knew that. It only seems fair that I know yours.
So you figured it out after all.
She folds her wings and lowers her head, bringing her gaze more level with mine.
Not bad, for a human.
I wasn't sure, until now. I didn't think the stories were true.
Some are gross exaggerations, many pure fabrication, but there are gems of truth hidden here and there among the fairy gold.
Fairy gold?
Fairy gold. Does it matter? Your quest remains unchanged. You were still sent to kill a dragon, and you have found her.
Or rather, she found me. She inclines her head, seeming almost to smile now.
Indeed. Well, Dragon Slayer, shall we continue our dance?
Actually, I was wondering if we might postpone it to a later date.
Rain check!
Can we go to coffee later, sweetheart? Smile vanishes in the blink of an eye. Her eyes flash dangerously, glinting sharp and metallic as she levels her gaze at me.
Why would I consent to that?
You've lived at least a century or two. What harm could it do to wait a few more days?
I'm f***ing done!
She's seething now. It may just be my imagination, but I can almost feel the heat of her anger radiating off of her. I only wish to understand the situation fully before I act. I've never been hired by a dragon before. It's unprecedented, to say the least.
Or maybe you have and didn't know.
Blah, blah!
What is there to understand? I am a dragon, and you are a killer. My life is yours to take. It's that simple.
Then let me stab you.
Shank.
It's not. I've lived long enough to know better. Nothing is ever that simple. I'm sure you know that as well as I do.
Perhaps you are right. But tell me, Dragon Slayer Marius, why shouldn't I kill you now and find a more willing slayer to take your place?
Because it would be inconvenient, it would be a waste of life, because I can give you something they will not. And that's a relationship!
No!
I ship it! No, I don't. That's terrifying. Big dragon, tiny man!
At least it's not the other way around.
Big man, tiny dragon! That's awful! Okay. Because it would be inconvenient, waste of life. I can give you something they will not, or because you are not that cruel. Maybe a waste of...
I think she is that cruel, but...
Yeah. Waste of life? Is that in reference to her killing him?
Yes. But...
It's not a bad thing to be bold on a first date! Technically, this is date 2.
I want to say it would be inconvenient, but I feel like she's going to retort with, well, I've waited this long.
Then we'll go with your gut then and go inconvenient. The dragon eyes me wearily.
I suppose that is true. It was trouble enough turning human and walking all that long way to town just to find one of you. I'd hate to think of doing it again. But in that case, I must ask, what do you get out of this deal, Dragon Slayer? Why delay the inevitable? The sooner you complete your quest, the sooner you may return home to your bed.
Not to mention my family. But I can't, in good conscience, strike her down just yet. An education. It is not often a human and dragon have an exchange that isn't violent.
Who's to say it won't be violent?
Ah!
Are you a scribe then, too?
Ah! How dare you accuse me of being an egghead!
Don't look so surprised. You humans were not the only ones taking notes on your adversary's weaknesses. Do you think we'd have survived this long if we weren't paying attention?
An excellent point, but one which does nothing to dampen my surprise. Scribes rarely accompanied dragon slayers during hunts. They were not trained for combat, and it was dangerous for slayers to split their attention between their quest and protecting a companion. But what field scribes lacked in defense, they made up for in stealth. They had to, if they wanted to live long enough to tell the tales they wished to collect. I am not a scribe, but I knew one once who was very interested, indeed, in learning more about your kind. I suppose she was a bit of a bad influence on me. The dragon looks less than impressed, but for reasons unknown to me, she nods.
Very well. I will allow you your odd request in exchange for one thing.
And what is that?
Your word. A sacred vow on your honor that will fulfill your original promise to me. That when the day comes that I ask you to end my life, you will do so without hesitation. You will strike hard and true. Allow me at last the respite I have yearned for and earned many times over.
I do not answer right away. She has asked me to do nothing I did not already once agree to, but she has hit upon what she must know to be a particular weakness among my kind, my honor. A sacred vow cannot be broken under any circumstances. To do so would bring dishonor to myself, my guild, and my kin. And yet, what harm is there in agreeing, when all roads will no doubt lead to one or both of us dying anyway?
Well, Dragonslayer, what do you say?
Very well. I agree to your terms. The dragon levels her gaze at me.
Swear it. I want to hear you say the words.
I nod and kneel, offering my blade with the customary formality befitting a true sacred vow. I swear upon my honor and my eternal soul that when the day comes I will not falter. By my hand, so will your life be ended. She regards me for a long moment until I begin to wonder if she's going to kill me after all. Finally, she nods and seems to relax her stance.
I believe you. Very well, Dragonslayer. Have it your way. I've waited what seems like a lifetime already. I suppose I can wait a few more days.
She stretches her wings and bends her legs in preparation for flight. Wait, where are you going?
To feed. I am hungry. I thought you might make me a decent meal, but now you're not dead. I must seek my breakfast elsewhere.
Wait, so she hired him to kill her. Is it that she prefers to snack on the feast and flesh of humans?
Nom 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 nom.
And she figured that was the easiest way to get a human to come to her? Or did she want that ass?
That ass.
Or is she actually, like, does she want to die?
I wonder if that's what it, like, I wonder if it's a loneliness thing, like, if she is the last of her kind. I mean, consider your character Kurai.
Yeah.
If he didn't have your other character, he probably would have been in the same state of mind of, well, my kind's dead, and I'm the last one, and
just let me die.
This fucking sucks.
That's another thing, though. He called it a dragon's kiss, the scar on her face. Yeah. He knows it's a burn mark.
Yeah.
So
maybe she's forsaken for some reason.
Yeah, that, or maybe there's more of a war going on between dragons than humans real.
Don't worry, Dragonslayer. You'll be able to find me again at my cave. But don't give me this day to rest. But give me this day to rest. I need to make up for the sleep you cost me last night.
She rises into the air in a whirlwind of loose leaves and dirt, shielding my eyes. I call up to her before she's out of earshot. Will you leave me without an answer?
To what?
When you arrived, I asked you a question. Have you forgotten it already? She responds with a rumble that might be a growl or perhaps a chuckle.
It's Tashka.
That's a cool name!
My name is Tashka.
Tashka. Sounds more human than I'd expected.
What did you expect it to be?
Parcel tongue!
Yeah, for real.
No, I expected something more along the lines of Ma! Ma! How does a baby dragon call its mother?
Ma!
I watched the dragon depart, marveling at the miracle of my continued existence.
I should not be alive!
Nope! That she would not simply kill me the moment she saw me was a gamble I made, knowing full well the odds were not in my favor. A gamble, it seems, that may yet pay off.
Oh, music! To be continued!
Oh wait, was that fully it? Oh, I just skipped through the credits, damn it! Ah! Hold on, can I find the credits? No!
Load?
Load. I didn't save at all. I didn't have to close the game at all. But here's some information about the demo. So I'm sorry I skipped through the credits. I usually like to sit through those and actually acknowledge the creators. The art was by Odd Losdo, writing and programming by Kim Berkeley, music by Kevin MacLeod. This is really good.
It's very well put together.
Yeah, and we haven't really done a visual novel on the channel before, and I think that this was I don't know, do you enjoy doing them?
I love visual novels.
Okay,
I love story-based games.
This was really, really good. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. This is a pay-what-you-want game, so I do highly encourage helping to support the developer. You could probably get a different outcome than we did. It looks like there are several paths that you can take. And I highly suggest trying it for yourself. Try it for yourself. Leave comments down below and let me know what ending you get in the demo. When this comes out, do you want to go ahead and do a full playthrough of it?
I'd be so down.
Yeah, so we'll probably do a full playthrough when the game actually releases. We'll keep an eye out for it on Itch.io. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a comment, leave a like. Icarus and I would both certainly appreciate it because it lets us know how we're doing.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And other than that,
Lord, yes.
other than that, you guys take love and care and have a wonderful day.